Think about the last time that you discovered a new brand or a new product. Maybe you were on Instagram and you were scrolling and you saw an ad and you clicked on their link in bio, you looked around a little bit, and then something happened. You either became disinterested, you got confused, maybe you just didn't feel like it was right for you, or maybe simply you just got distracted and you clicked on to something else and then you never went back. What happened in that entire scenario? Well, this is a very, very common thing for business owners who don't have their customer journey mapped out correctly. If you don't understand all of the steps that a potential customer is going to take when interacting with your brand, all the way from the very beginning when they first become aware of you, all the way to closing the sale, you're gonna lose them along the way. Most businesses are so me focused and not enough customer-centric approach. We wanna focus on the end customer. They are what matters, and we need to make it easy for them to work with us. Today, we're gonna break down everything that you need to know about the customer journey map so that you don't make the same mistake with your new business. We're gonna go over what is a customer journey map, why it's important to use one, when to actually use one, and I'm gonna show you a very specific example from my own business to give you kind of a rough idea of where you should start doing this as well for yourself. So hi, my name is Christina, and I am doing a 7-day YouTube challenge where I'm showing up every day for 7 days with very actionable steps for your sales and marketing plan if you are a new business owner thinking about becoming a business owner, or you're an aspiring entrepreneur that watches all of this on TikTok because one day you want to do this for yourself. So my goal here is to make this very, very simple for you, and today is day 4. We've covered so much already. Day 1 was all about our brand identity, creating our business idea. Day 2 was all about revenue streams and how to make sure that you are maintaining a profit in this business from day 1. Day 3 was all about the lead generation funnel and the sales tactics that you're gonna need to use right off the bat. So while yesterday was a little bit more me focused, today we are switching gears and we are gonna be talking all about the customer. We are gonna put ourselves in their shoes. You'll know how to market to them. You know what they're thinking and you know what state of mind they are in when you are showing that specific ad or that specific content that they're seeing online. So what the heck is a customer journey map? Well, it's a visual representation of every single step that a potential customer takes when they're interacting with you. From the very first moment that they hear or see anything related to your business, all the way through to the final sale, including post-delivery, retention, upsells, things like that. Why is it important for you to have one? Well, we touched on this a little bit, but it makes you customer-centric. It makes you focus on the customer, the end user. It means that you'll make sure that they are happy and satisfied at every single step of the journey. And by putting yourself in their shoes, you're gonna be able to understand how to sell to them, how to market to them, and overall drive more revenue for your business. Here are 4 times when you might want to use a customer journey map or update the one that you currently have. Number 1, when you are starting a new business or creating a new product or a new service offering. Number 2, when you want to make the current customer experience better or more efficient in general. Number 3, if you have multiple departments within your company and every single department is in charge of a small specific segment of that customer experience, this is going to tie everyone in together to be cohesive and make sure that you are all focusing on the same common goal. And number 4, it will help you focus on any gaps that you're missing within your current sales and your lead process. So before we can even begin a customer journey, we have to actually envision this person, this customer in mind. And we do this by something called a buyer persona. Before you can even have a buyer persona, you should probably figure out what your target audience is and who your ideal client profiles are. This fictitious person is going to have all of the characteristics that you consider ideal that you want to work with. Keep in mind that this is not something that's completely made up. In a lot of service-based businesses, this is someone that you've already had direct experience with, whether it was because you were that person at one time or another, or you worked with people who are like this and you've seen the need, right? So this is a very specific story that you're telling. And here's an example of that buyer persona for my company, Startup Sarah. So Startup Sarah is 34 years old. She's the founder and CEO of a subscription-based e-commerce shop for eco-friendly products. She lives in Austin, Texas, which is a hub for thriving tech. She has an income of $75,000 annually, and she's in early stage startup funding. She's currently a solo founder with plans to hire a small team as the business grows. And she's recently launched the company 6 months ago, so she's still in the process of establishing her brand's identity online. So you want to think about Sarah's short-term goals, her long-term goals, all of the challenges, all of the pain points that she's suffering going through, as well as how she does her shopping, how she pays for things, what is her thought process, what kind of stuff does she do online, and what is she interested in. That's a lot of information. So let's look at some of Startup Sarah's short-term goals. Her main ones are to increase her brand awareness and reach within her community, as well as build an engaged customer base and grow a following on social media, specifically TikTok and Instagram. Her long-term goals are to scale the business and include a wide range of products. Some of her biggest challenges right now are that there's a lot of competition in her space. She's lacking practical experience within digital marketing, and she has some budget constraints because she is in early stages of her business, so she may not have a huge budget to work with, and she is currently struggling to do a million things at once. So for her, her time is limited. She's regularly following blogs and podcasts related to the e-commerce space, so she is trying to get all the information as she can. So she's not completely clueless when it comes to digital marketing. She's just not able to do it for herself. She's also actively participating in online forums and social media groups. So she's trying to network. She's trying to be involved in the space as much as she can. So she values data-driven decisions and is looking for a marketing partner who can provide insights and analytics on a regular basis. She loves being outside, whether it's hiking, walking her dog, or doing yoga in the sun. Also, she loves to travel and spends most of her free time in Bali when she's not working 12+ hour days. Her preferred communication channels are social media, specifically Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, LinkedIn for professional networking, email. She subscribes to a bunch of newsletters for the industry, and community engagement. She values networking through local startup events and online communities. So do you see how specific we got? So Startup Sarah now actually has a story behind it, and there's a face that I can really envision when I'm talking to this person in my YouTube videos, in my marketing on my website. So I want you to really get granular with this and get as many details as possible. I would recommend following the same template and just jotting down what comes to mind and then fine tuning it as you go. So the customer journey map, remember, is a visual representation of every single step that someone takes with your brand. So Startup Sarah, as she's going around, living her life, building her business, she's gonna come across my name. I wanna know where she spends her time because that's where I wanna be creating content. What are the thoughts and the concerns and the struggles of her schedule? What does it all look like so that I can be a little more empathetic to where she's coming from? I can write content that speaks directly to her and hopefully get her enticed to come in and learn more. This is what a customer journey map looks like. And you'll notice here, you can really decide how many stages you want to include. I do recommend 5. Now, yesterday we talked about the 3 stages of lead generation. Once they have that decision and they're working with us, we also want to include retention. We want to include loyalty because these are the other side of the story, right? Once they are working with you and building that relationship day to day, as well as once your contract is up with them, what are the next steps? How do you get them to continue with you for years at a time? At the top, we've got all the stages. We've got awareness, consideration, decision, retention, and loyalty. Each row details out very specific things that we're going to need to know when we're creating our marketing content and we're putting this out there for the world to see. And fun fact, I did use ChatGPT for a lot of this, and then I fine tune as I go. So I highly recommend that you do that. If you're interested in knowing my prompts and how I created this with ChatGPT, let me know. So there are 3 ways that Startup Sarah could come across my name. Number 1 is through social media. Number 2 is through referrals, either from friends or from the networking groups that she's a part of. And number 3 is maybe she's Googling some marketing support that she's trying to learn from a podcast or something, and she's trying to read more, and she comes across a blog on my website. I could also add ads in there later on down the road. So when she comes across your name, what she needs to know is, how can my services help? What is it that I do, and how can I help her and her pain points? I can create engaging social content. I can have blog articles on relevant topics that she might be interested in Googling. I could participate in different networking events or workshops or communities online in those forums, and that could be a way for me to get in touch so she sees me, so she learns about me. What are some of the experiences and the emotions that she's currently having? I think this part is sometimes missed when people look at customer journeys. Are they feeling excited, overwhelmed, stressed? What is it they're feeling, and how are you going to fit into that entire story? So for Startup Sarah, she's feeling pretty excited and curious right now about how digital marketing works, how she can use digital marketing within her business. She may be a little bit overwhelmed with options, but that's obviously going to be expected because if you go online right now, there is a ton of content about marketing your business online. Some of her biggest pain points is that it's really hard to tell the difference between all of these marketing agencies. All these people that are talking about it online, like what's the difference between all of us and how can she find the right one? She is kind of fearful of wasting her resources and her time on something that's not going to work. And she's motivated because she's trying to find a partner who's going to help grow her business. So that really gives you a really good sense of where this person is, what they're thinking, where their head's at. So once they find out about you through all of these channels, they're gonna start considering working with you. Some of the actions they're gonna take at this point is they're probably gonna research the company website. They're gonna probably compare me with other people within the industry. Well, she needs to know how you're different, what kind of services you're offering, what kind of testimonials and portfolio work do you have. Some of the touch points that I can do at this stage is I could provide some in-depth case studies. Maybe I can create some client testimonials, some FAQs to kind of ease her concerns that she has. At this stage, she's feeling pretty hopeful. She's cautious because she is trying to see, engage, and compare me to other people right now. She's looking for some validation through the case studies, through the testimonials, so that she feels like she's making the right decision moving forward with this person. At this point, she is really concerned about trying to find a reputable agency that's going to deliver on results that she can measure because she is data driven, as we saw in our buyer persona. She's feeling really overwhelmed still just because there's so much conflicting information online. And she's now looking at multiple marketing agencies online and trying to figure out, okay, what are all of them saying and how are they different and who knows more, who's more experienced and all of that. At this point, she's trying to look at the results that these people have done before to know that she's in the right place and that they could do the same thing for her. So once we get through that stage of it, we get to the decision-making process. This is gonna look like scheduling a free strategy call to learn more, reviewing the proposal, the recommendations, and my pricing that I recommend to her during our call. And she's gonna compare that across a few different proposals that she's gonna get from different agencies. She needs validation that the agency is aligning with her goals, that the agency understands her, that they've done this before. Some major touch points that will need to happen on my end, a virtual consultation. So not just having a phone call, I want her to see my face. I want her to know that she can trust me and become and build that relationship together. And I'm gonna have a tangible proposal that she can take back. So I'm not just sending her some random email with a bullet point list of everything and the pricing. I'm gonna send her a very professional document so that she can look at that and use that as reference points moving forward. At this point, she's really feeling confident. She does have some anxiety around her budget, and she's a little bit concerned because I do have a 3-month minimum and I can't just work month to month or packages, but she's dipping her toes a little further in because we had that call and she's now being able to associate a person behind this company or the space that she saw online. Some of her biggest pain points right now are that she's kind of doubting whether or not this proposal is effective. So I need to make sure that in my proposal, in my communication to her, that I am providing her with data so that she knows that this is effective. So having that in mind, I could address those concerns on the call with her or send her more information via email after the call to really ease some of those concerns and those pain points that she's having. Her biggest motivation at this point is creating a long-term relationship because she knows that this is not a one and done thing. She does want someone that she can align with for future growth and who's going to help her scale her business further. How are we going to retain them long term? At this point, some of the action steps I can do: monthly performance reports and analysis that we're tracking progress over time. It's going to provide her some confidence that this is working. We're going to have weekly check-ins for status updates so she knows at every step of the process what we are doing. And we're going to have monthly strategy calls to make sure that we're adjusting and tweaking based on where her business is, since it's a startup and she needs to know that she's going to have a dedicated account manager who's going to be there along the way so that she doesn't slip through the cracks. Some of the touch points, like I've mentioned already, the monthly performance review, the weekly check-ins, those are ways that we're going to hold ourselves accountable so that she feels like she's being heard and supported. She's feeling valued, she's feeling supported throughout the whole journey, and she's being reassured through transparency. Her biggest desire right now is that we maintain consistency and high quality throughout our entire relationship together. They're committed to growing their business right now. They're motivated to, expanding as quickly as possible and getting more funding. They want to make sure that we are there as well and we're able to help support that growth. At this point, your journey map could be done. However, I do want to throw in loyalty simply because the loyalty side of things is kind of the best people that we want to have. These are the champions. These are our cheerleaders. These are the ones that are going to be screaming our names from the rooftops. And these are the ones that are going to get us more business. Startup Sarah really loves working with us. We've been working together for a really long time, and she has built that friendship with me. She's a lot more willing to go to a networking event with me or do a case study together. At every agency I've worked at, the most successful thing that we could do is create a loyal client who does a webinar with us. And we would talk about all the things we did in that project and how it helped them and the results behind it on how it worked. Some of her needs to get to this point, well, she needs recognition that her loyalty matters. So that could be through some discounted services that are exclusive to loyal customers. This is why like loyalty programs work and like all those nice perks. I could create a loyalty program for any new product launches that she's gonna have, or maybe do exclusive events. She's feeling really happy, really appreciated. She feels like she's a partner. Some of the pain points that she might be experiencing, well, she's probably going to feel undervalued or underappreciated after signing the contract. She's going to feel forgotten if we don't really take action and make her feel valued. There is a risk of her switching from us if she doesn't feel like her needs are being met. And she's looking for different ways that our agency and her business could work together and grow over time. And loyalty is hard to come by. It really is. So the more that you can get that, if you are willing to go the extra mile for every single client and you understand their pain points, you understand how to talk to them and how to address everything before they even say it. You know exactly what issues are coming up, and if you can address those to them before they even have them, they're gonna be like, you're a mind reader. And this helps when you have a really clear-cut sense of your buyer persona and you're not trying to talk to everyone. Because if you talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. So at this point, I have this table in front of me and I can start mapping out some of my marketing efforts, right? Like, what do I think is most important to tackle? We need to be on Instagram. We need to be on TikTok. We need to have blogs on our website. We need to be on Pinterest. We need to be creating content that showcases testimonials and case studies and work that we've done. Community and data seem to be the two common themes that are popping up constantly throughout this entire table. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. So when we go towards creating our 90-day content marketing plan, we'll have a really good sense of what type of topics we need to talk about because we've already created this story. So I really do hope that that helps. Please do not skip this step. This step is crucial and it's going to help so much. And I want you to keep in mind that this is fluid. Like everything else, it should be adjusted accordingly. I know a lot of businesses that I've worked with, and I'm talking big companies, Fortune 500 tech companies, who I asked their marketing team about their buyer personas, and we have it, but we haven't updated it in a long time. And I think it's a lot easier when you're a small company and you have the resources to do that, because when you're a larger company and you have people coming in and out constantly, they're so focused on the day-to-day that they forget about the overall vision and strategy behind it. So getting your buyer persona, keeping it somewhere close that you look at every time that you create content. So if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know what your buyer persona's name is. That would be really fun. And please download the 7-day checklist. That's gonna help keep you organized and make sure that you are taking care of every step of this process. If you haven't done so yet, please check out the last 3 days. So all of those are foundational for everything to come. The next video is all about the sales process. We're gonna look at that in-between stage of when they schedule the appointment, the proposal, pricing, and closing. Okay guys, I'll see you in day 5. Talk to you soon.